Welcome into Game Night Live Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, as always, brought to you by our friends at Heidemann and Associates.
Yeah, that's right. And just a reminder, Heidemann and Associates, a full-service law firm. If you have any legal needs, business, personal, want to get things set up for posterity, they're going to take care of you. They'll meet whatever legality question you might have. They're probably going to contest that statement because I didn't say it very well. But Heidemann and Associates, full-service law firm, whatever you need, they'll take care of you. To learn about their services, visit utah.law or call 801-754-4240.
What you need to do is next time you talk to Justin, say, hey, I need a copyright legality. Can you help me with that?
Yeah,
and
yeah. He'll get a chuckle out of it, I promise. He'll be like, what? You must have been talking to Dane.
Yes. Oh, hear that one. And also remind our new sponsor here as well, Western Governors University. We know it's not just the kids. A lot of our viewers are parents, are people that are adults that maybe you feel like you missed your chance to get school done, and Western Governors University is there to help you. $2,500 scholarship for 2022, the year of you. If this is the chance that you've been looking for an opportunity to get to that next level of your job or to just to get that next job that you wanted, Western Governors University is a great place to get done online. They also have campuses. They got campus down in Murray. It's gorgeous, by the way. 3 buildings. It's awesome. We'll be doing some videos from there. But again, go to wgu.edu. Go fill out the form to get the potential $2,500 scholarship in 2022, the year of you, Western Governors University. All right, we're talking girls basketball. And to remind you that Dane and I are going to be going all the way to the 5A and 6A Girls State Championship games. 2 venues. I didn't mention this in the boys venue. We're going to go from the Huntsman Center and then make the trek down south to the Marriott Center to close up the state championships. We'll both be ready for that one to go. We'll pack the bags and get ready for that. So, but
I got to wear multiple color stuff now, Dusty.
Just go with the Royal. You'll be fine. It'll work. or you just go Kalani Sataki style and you wear a Royal hat and navy jackets, and then you're all set.
I'll just go black and gold. That's safe, right?
Absolutely. Neutral colors. But the girls basketball season, I mean, we're right through it. And I tell you what, we're going to start in 6A like we always do. And we're talking RPI. And man, oh man, is this 6A girls RPI very, very interesting. We talk about the boys, and I go, hey, there's not a lot that you get overly mad at. We can nitpick, and we did. Go watch that video, by the way. You look at the girls' 6A RPI, and Dane, I mean, we're never negative, but it's a shocker. It's a little surprising when you first look at it.
Well, I'll tell you, there are a lot of good girls' teams. Let's just get that on the table, right? It is not easy in 6A this year. But you look at Syracuse, Dusty, nice win over Harriman, 40-37 win for the Titans. They find themselves at number 1. And Westlake sitting there with a perfect record. Like, what else do we got to do? Sitting at number 2. I had a 31-19 win over Springville. Really solid for them. That Springville program, such a good job, right? We've seen them in multiple state championship games the last couple of years. But then you got Riverton sitting right there, and we haven't even got to Lone Peak, who maybe has the best player in the state. Fremont, yeah. I said the best player in the state. There's a couple at Fremont, and there's a couple at Judge right now. They're like, hey, what about us? Look, there's a lot of great talent. And, the Fremont situation, let's talk about that. A pair of losses. They're to out-of-state teams, right? I think most probably expect them to be the heavy favorite in Region 1 and still the favorite in 6A. But RPI doesn't care who you lost to, right? You lose, you don't get the points. You win, you do. And so that's why I think you see Fremont being a little further down. But I think most would probably say they still have the deepest and best roster in the state.
Yeah, well, you got to deal with Gardner and Mendelson. I mean, in the words of one of our favorite movies, good luck when you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And yes, Syracuse, who's number 1, is going to have to deal with them twice. Davis is number 6. They're going to deal with them twice. And then when you look at Westlake, we mentioned 13-0 to start the year. You got Lone Peak at number 5, Westlake's at number 2. So actually, why don't we do this? Instead of me going all weird in pieces, currently, as we say this on, the 6th, Syracuse, Westlake, Riverton, Fremont, Lone Peak, Davis, top 6. Okay, but when you have that, you have all those teams are going to play each other, and that's when you say, well, it's going to figure itself out. And then there's Riverton in Region 3, and Riverton sitting at number 3 can be the beneficiary. But we know Region 3 girls basketball is currently really good, but they sit in a really decent spot here, Dave, because they're not going to have 2 games against the teams around them.
Yeah, the biggest thing will be, and I mean, when you look at Region 3, Dusty, you can make the argument that Region 3 might be the deepest region in 6A. You have Harriman up there. You're talking about Riverton, really good. Bingham, who's been at the top of the classification the last couple of years. Copper Hill's been a great program for the last decade. And then you've got Mountain Ridge, who's off to a great start this year at 9-2. West Jordan has a winning record. Every team in Region 3 is above 500 going into region play. So, I mean, you look at how good they've been in their non-region. And so there's going to be a ton of points coming from opponents' winning percentage and opponents. And then you capitalize on games getting wins there. It will be interesting to see how many losses the region champ has, right? Does anyone run the table in this region? I don't think so. Does the region champ come away with 1 loss, 2 losses, 3 losses? Very well could. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But to your point, Riverton, Harriman, I think Mountain Ridge has shown that they can compete. You never count out Bingham. You got 4 legit region contenders there in Region 3.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch where it goes. And just for everyone programming note, we'll be doing every Lone Peak girls game in region play. They're undefeated right now as well. So we'll get to see Westlake twice. We'll get to see Sky Rangers at number 7. It's going to be very interesting to watch what we see in 6A, because it feels pretty deep. And we'll go through some of the names that have been playing really well, but there's a lot of talent here too. We talk about Timmy Gardner and Maggie Mendelson and others, and Woolston. I mean, she's absolutely spectacular. We have other girls that we'll mention here just a little bit later on in the show. And then we look at 5A, and if you go look at the standings, sometimes you get a little nervous about picks. I picked Lehigh again. I was going to say this is the year. You look at the standings, you might go dusty. But then you look at the RPI, and I start doing one of these. All right, we're feeling pretty good. Feel pretty good about what we're seeing for the Lehigh Pioneers. But Olympus at number 1, Lehigh number 2. How about a newcomer? Welcome, Timpanogos. Timpanogos at number 3, Timpview 4, Highland. I know you like Highland. Highland at 5, Cedar Valley 6, and then Springville at 7.
Yeah, look, so we can start with Timpanogos because, look, football was fantastic. Fantastic to see that football program get back to winning ways. And to see girls basketball be top 3 at this point in the season is awesome. And, got a 41-27 win over Mountain Ridge. We just talked about that's a team that I think has shown that they're ready to compete in one of the deepest regions in 6A. That's a quality win. You look at Lehigh this year, Dusty, your Lehigh Pioneers had a solid win over Bountiful. They're sitting at 9-3, and you lose, 2 of the best players in your program history. Not easy to replace that. We're losing the Warren twins. And so, to start off the year the way they have, awesome. They added that coaching staff. So that coaching staff now has a ton of coaching experience and knowledge. They're going to make sure that team's ready to go night in, night out. Talk about Olympus, Dusty. They're sitting at number 1 right now. They beat Riverton. That's the number 3 team in 6A, 48-35. Olympus got them. Alyssa Blank, congratulations on your commitment to BYU. So awesome when you see players from the state of Utah get opportunities to go play at big-time programs. And Alyssa, man, just wish you the best this year, senior year, but going forward. But look, this is an Olympus team, Dusty. When she was starting at that program as a freshman, I think the program was winning single-figure games. They're now ranked number 1. So absolutely awesome to see how that program has grown the last several years. And look, it's a team that came up shy of their goals last year. They want to meet the goal this year. It's going to be fun to see if they can do it.
Yeah, we've seen that, right? We saw it with Skyline with Grange and the run they had there as well. And Alyssa Blank's been able to do it. And again, congratulations both of us. Our reigning 5A player of the year as well. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun. And we know Springville will keep coming. They won't keep swinging, or they won't stop swinging. They'll be coming. All right, and 4A.
Well, I mean, just real quickly before we move on, Dusty, Springville beat Olympus. It's one of Olympus's only 2 losses. It's to Springville. Not all that shocking, right? Because it seems like Springville, they just know how to play those top-end games. And, of course, they've got Esplin back, who's been absolutely so fantastic to watch. Was in the playoffs last year, and expect her to do great things again this year for the Red Devils.
Yeah, Coach Averett, one of our favorites in our while I'm pumping our awards, our reigning 5A Coach of the Year. So she knows what she's doing, and we see it. Yeah. But there's a lot of coaches that don't want us to talk about them early because, as I tell these kids when we go in somewhere, like, why don't you pick us? Like, you don't want us to pick you.
It. Yep.
You don't want it. You don't want this heat.
It's more a curse than a blessing.
Yeah, I feel like Mike Greenberg, for heaven's sakes. All right, so let's go. We look at 4A, and 4A gets super interesting. So, Ridgeline Girls at number 1, Green Canyon number 2, Desert Hills number 3. Shocking. That's not shocking. Skyview, the reigning champion, at number 4. Snow Canyon number 5. Pineview, an interesting start for the Pineview Panthers at 4 and 6 at number 6.
Really interesting the way that 4A is shaping up here early, Dusty. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You've got one team that's 12-0, and then your next best record is 6-3. It feels like there's a bit of a gap there, right? No one-loss team, no two-loss team. But look, these teams have been challenging themselves. I mean, you look at Ridgeline; they had one of their wins over Davis, right? So they're playing 6A teams. Desert Hills got to win over Box Elder. They're playing 5A teams. Skyview win over East. They're playing 5A teams. And so these are teams that are going out trying to play against the best competition they can. And you're not going to win every one of those games, right? But you look at Region 10 already underway. Snow Canyon, Desert Hills, both off to undefeated starts, 2-0 in region play. I think I don't remember who I picked as the state champion in 4A, but I know Desert Hills, I thought they were going to be really strong. Skyview, look, they've started strong again. And I know that, 7-5, people are going to be like, well, the record isn't great, but they were kind of this way last year, Dusty, right? Where they weren't the region champ, and then everything came together in the state tournament to their run. They returned 3 starters off of that team, Hellstern, Radford, and Hyatt. I think this Skyview team, they're sitting at 4 right now, but I think you're going to see them really grow as they get into region play. And you'll start to see those wins come through for the Bobcats.
Yeah, and it was a late run last year, and so you have to be undefeated to get there, right? Get to the tournament and make things happen. But a great start for Ridgeline, I mentioned, at 12-0. Yeah. When we go take a look at 3A, and how about Judge? Dane, you got a good feeling, Judge. You just saw Taya Sidbury. Got a fun note on her in a little bit, but Taya Sidbury, by the way, congratulations. We don't say this a whole lot. Was it 2,000 points? She went over the 2,000-point mark last week, and man, just congratulations to Taya. So a lot of fun to see her go there. Judge at number 1, Richfield at number 2. What is it, Ryan Cuff walking through that door? Grantsville at number 3. Emory at number 4. Layton Christian at number 5. Mattite at number 6. Summit Academy number 7. And my Carbon Dinos coming in at number 8.
Yeah. Yeah, look, and Judge is by far and away, I think, the best team in 3A. The question in my mind is, are they going to be able to put together in the playoffs, right? Because you could make the argument the last couple of years they've been the best team, and we've seen them, fall short in a championship game, fall short in a semifinal. This group, talking with Coach Pike, he's like, look, I think they're aware, right? We got a good culture. They know what we're doing, and it's all about just having that resiliency so that when, they've got a bad couple minutes, they're able to get it out of their minds and move on. And, you look at a game that we did this last week against North Summit. That's a 2A school, but they've got a really good score at that North Summit program. And, they're playing that game. Marcy Richens leaves the game with an injury, and North Summit comes out and makes a push, gets to 1 possession, and then Judge just closes the door on it. And, that's the kind of response I think Coach Pike going to be looking for from the Dogs this year. And, wins over Morgan, win over Corner Canyon, win over Syracuse. I mean, this has been a team that has not been afraid to play anybody, and they've been piling up wins. And when you look at Taya Sidbury in particular, you talk about being a member of the 2,000-point club, just the second girl in state history to be a member of that club. She's 289 points behind setting the school or the career scoring record for girls basketball. 289 points away. She's averaging 34 points a game. And by the way, if she broke that record, it'd be the all-time scoring record, boys and girls. Right. So, Taya, we're all pulling for you on it. Always awesome when you see records going down. But it's been a phenomenal career. And I know she's hopeful, as is all of Judge, that they're able to cap it off for the state championship.
I think Briggs thought she'd hold that for a longer potential when Lavender
Briggs
graduated.
Is second. Briggs is second.
Oh,
it's Croman-Hook. It's Croman-Hook.
Yeah, a name that told. Yeah, see? That's why we do the girls' video. So I don't walk around spouting nonsense. We could have done you ready for a fun fact?
Yeah, I love fun facts.
or you could have done the, hey, Dusty, let me ask you this one, because I totally would have swung I would have whiffed. I would have absolutely swung right through that ball. But, it tasted very absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, so it's Julie Croman-Hook, from American Fork, set the record in 1994. Lavender Briggs was second on that list, 1,908 career points for Lavender. So Taya has already surpassed her.
Feels weird to say that I was alive when some of these people, the kids who are now going to try to break it, weren't alive. So what can you say?
Yeah.
We've now hit that juncture. We were so young when we started this, Dane, that we're so old now. But
Yep.
but that'll be a lot of fun to see where we go. All right, so look at quickly at 2A. Give you the top 5 here. Kanab comes in at number 1 at 9-2. Millard, man, how about Millard basketball right now? Dave Rose back coaching at Millard. I mean, the boys are in the top 3. The girls are they're 12-1. Beaver coming in at number 3 at 8-2. Duchesne comes in at 4th at 7-4. And then South Severe gets an interesting one. You know, they're below 500, but they're coming in at number 5.
Yeah, really interesting, Dusty. You know, Kanab sitting at number 1. They lost to Millard. They also split with Duchesne already this season. So, you know, we've seen Kanab really good. Defeated Crimson Cliffs. They've also defeated Duchesne, but, you know, not insurmountable, right? I think there's a lot of teams that can compete at the top of 2A. And one of those teams is a team that we were just talking about from 3A in North Summit. Marcy Richens left that Judge game with an injury, Dusty. We hope that she's okay. We hope we're able to see her back. She's one of the top scorers in all of 2A. And a really dynamic player, can score from the outside, will drive. She's got pieces around her as well. I mean, there's a couple Richens on that team, including some youngsters. Hazelin, a freshman, runs the point there. There's a lot of talent on that North Summit team. The record doesn't look great. They've been testing themselves with a lot of 3A, 4A teams. That North Summit team is going to be a team to keep an eye on. But you look at Miller, Duchesne, obviously their ability to play with Kanab. This is going to be I think it's going to be a dogfight to the end to see who comes out atop 2A.
Well, it's so interesting to watch where it goes, because as you get into that state tournament, you usually have that team that pulls away, right? But we've also seen those teams that don't pull it off. We've seen North Summit a couple years ago. Thought North Summit was going to run away with the state championship, and they don't get it in a heartbreaking fashion. So we know things can happen in these lower classifications. But also when you look at records, it isn't always telling the whole story as well. All right, and then we take a look at 1A. We go through top 5. Tabiona comes in at number 1, 11-2. Paiute 11-1 Tabiona 11-2 at number 1. Paiute 11-1 at number 2. Panguitch 9-3 at number 3, and then Wayne at number 4, and Wendover at number 5.
Yeah, really interesting, Dusty. I think looking at this, Paiute, state champions last year, returned 4 starters from that group. I think a lot of people thought they were probably going to be the team to beat. Love the start that we've seen from Tabiona. 11-2 to start the year, wins over Panguitch and Rockwell, I believe. Really solid start for Tabiona. That Panguitch team, look, 9-3. I think it's going to be a team that is going to give a lot of fight to Paiute, especially when you look at that region. Those are going to be great games. But to me, I still feel like Paiute's probably that team to keep an eye on in 1A, and probably the team to beat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch where 1A goes. But again, if you have thoughts of the RPI, hit us up. Love to hear from you. Let's get to our final segment of today's show. Let's go to Western Governors University. As mentioned, 2022 is the year of you. And right now we're going to talk midterms. We'll talk about some surprises, either teams or players, and some fun things we want to match up. Again, go to wgu.edu. Go apply for the $2,500 scholarship at Western Governors University. You don't have to go to the building. They also do online. Lots of things. Go to Western Governors or wgu.edu and learn more. All right, Dane, who's the midterm you want to bring up?
All right, I'm going to start with a player that we already talked about, but we really didn't give her due diligence. Taya Sidbury. 34 points a game, Dusty. 14 rebounds a game. 6 steals per game. They run her on some of their full court pressures in the backcourt. I think people really don't appreciate her athleticism. This is not your typical post player. She plays all over the floor, offensively, defensively. She is a matchup problem. It's not just her scoring, it's her rebounding, it's her defense. She does everything. And in the words of one coach, if she isn't Miss Basketball, I'd like to see who is, because she's that impactful on the floor. So just wanted to call that out, let people know it's not just the scoring prowess of Taya. She does everything for Judge Memorial.
And Taya, we've had her. She's our reigning 3A Player of the Year as well. And here's a fun one. How about we have 3 scores as currently reported. Always got to give that little disclaimer.
Yeah.
that are all averaging 20.8 points per game. And I could mention all of them, but I want to mention just one of them. Okay, let's name them. Alyssa Blank, Kaylee Woolston are two of them. The one I want to highlight is Melissa Jepson, because here's a school that I dare anyone to tell me where it is. Walter Canyon High School. How about Melissa Jessup from Walter Canyon? She's averaging 20.8 points per game. But my favorite part of this, as reported, she's only made 2 3-pointers on the year. Getting it
Wow.
done old school. So, again, as far as it's reported, because you know me, I love girls, anyone who shoots the three. But how
Yeah.
about this one? Jessup averaging, that's 10 buckets a game. Now, she's doing yeoman's work, having to score 10 buckets per game there for Walter Canyon, but averaging 20 points a game.
That's great. That's great. How about a couple other names, Dusty?
Yeah.
I know I kind of went, headline and front runner on my first. Your Lehigh Pioneers. How about Jamison Heaton? I feel like the
Yes.
last couple of years she has kind of been not talked about with the Warrens, and it's they were so good. She kind of flew under the radar, but now it's kind of her team, right? And averaging 17 points a game, she's got to be really strong for them. I feel like to win a region championship and to go compete for a state championship. But this is the year where I think we're going to see Jamison Heaton really take off. And it's not that she was a bad player. I think she was averaging 9 or 11 points, last year. It's just this year, it's all on her, right? And so she's got the opportunity to absolutely shine. And I'll give you another name too. We talked about Timpanogos, the great start they're on. How about Summer Christensen? This is a young girl that we saw last year on the soccer field, on the pitch for the women Timberwolves in 5A, and now playing basketball, averaging 17 points per game for Timpanogos, and trying to take that basketball program to help them take next steps and elevate it. We talked a little bit in the boys video and some of the rural classifications about how when one sport finds success, it kind of bleeds through. Summer Christensen feels like, right, taking that soccer ability, culture, expectation, bringing that to basketball, and it's working here in the early part of the year. But Summer Christensen going to be someone to keep an eye on as well for the Lady Timberwolves.
That's great. That is a really good one. And since I mentioned girls who score that don't have to shoot the three, how about the ones that do shoot threes? Alexis Webster leading girls basketball right now with 41 threes on the year. And then Naomi Nicholson and Kayla Hamlin each with 38. Again, as reported, but one of my favorite reasons why I want to bring up Alexis, American Leadership Academy. Dane and I are switching spots today. Dane's going headlines. Dusty's going small, back to his roots. All my rural friends have reached out to me like, dude, when did you become a city dude? I'm like, well, I was a country guy, but I was a city guy. But go back and give some love to some of the smaller schools.
Welcome, Dusty. It's nice to have you back.
Yeah, well, it's good to be back. I feel like myself again. So, but again, I want to remind you, we're going to have you all the way through the 6A and 5A Girls State Championship games right here at Game Night Live Rewind. Not only that, we've got every single Lone Peak girls basketball game in region play, which means you're going to see all those teams in Region 4. You're going to see a lot of these top teams. It's going to be a very, very exciting, plus our boys coverage as well on the other side. We got a lot of games we're going to be doing, and it's going to be fun to get back out and watch the girls play. I know you've gotten a couple thus far, but it's always fun to go see the ladies apply their wares on the hardwood.
Yeah, and especially when you got state records, opportunity of state records to be broken. So, the way it shakes out, if averages hold, we might be seeing Taya Sidbury one more time this year in the regular season as she tries to go set a mark. But there's we talk about records. I think we talked about last year, but Kaylee Woolston, Lone Peak, set the national record last year for free throw percentage. I think it was 94%. It was something remarkable like that. I don't think I've ever gotten a 94% in my life at anything. But see if she can eclipse that. We'll have a chance to see her, as you mentioned, throughout Region 4. But there's a lot of great players. Mendelson and obviously talking about Gardner as their careers coming to a close. They're both going to move on to play, at the next level. There's a lot of great players that we get a chance to see this year, and can't wait to bring as many of them to you as we can right here on KSLSports.com.
Yeah, and hey, by the way, it was fun to see you back at Judge Memorial for one of our favorite games, the place where Tina Fakahafua hit a crazy shot off the backboard, but seeing the cameras from behind the backboard, that brought back some good memories, man. So I'm glad you got to go back.
I felt like I was playing a video game in the 90s. It was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't always that great, kids. All right, for Fitz Francis and Dane Stewart, thanks for joining us and for watching Game Night Live Rewind, brought to you by Heidemann Associates and Western Governors University.